Everyone keeps saying the global economy is broken, that it's failing, that someone messed up. But what if the truth is more uncomfortable? What if the global economy isn't broken at all? What if it's working exactly the way it was designed to? Because when you zoom out far enough, the chaos starts to look strangely consistent. Inflation spikes, debt explodes, assets concentrate, crises repeat. Different decade, same pattern. And that raises a dangerous question. If this is a failure, why does it keep producing the same winners? Right now, this matters more than ever. Because we're living through a moment where people feel poorer, angrier, and more confused. While balance sheets at the top quietly hit record highs. And the official explanations don't add up anymore. We're told inflation was an accident. Debt is temporary. Markets are correcting. But systems don't repeat accidents for 50 years straight. So let's slow this down. No slogans, no ideology, just mechanics. The modern global economy runs on three simple pillars: debt, liquidity, and incentives.
Thank you all.
Everything else is decoration.
With hard work,
After World War II,
hit
the
record
world made a
highs
deal.
and
Growth
secured
would be
net
fueled by
gains.
credit.
On to
Governments
profit
would
growth.
spend
This is
first.
confusing.
Central
Look,
banks would
this part
stabilize the
explains it.
aftermath.
Oh, I see now.
First.
Thanks. No problem. Glad I
Debt allowed countries to rebuild without waiting decades. Consumption surged. Living standards rose. But debt has a property most people ignore. It compounds. Relentlessly. And once a system depends on compounding debt to survive, it can never slow down. It can only roll forward or collapse. So instead of asking, is there too much debt? The system quietly asked a different question. How do we make debt survivable forever? That's where liquidity comes in. Whenever the system feels stress, recession, crash, panic, central banks step in. They inject money, lower rates, buy assets. This isn't corruption, it's design. Liquidity doesn't fix problems, it delays consequences. And delaying consequences has a side effect. It rewards whoever owns assets during the delay. Stocks, bonds, real estate, entire companies. Don't own these. Liquidity feels like inflation. If you do own them, liquidity feels like rescue. That's not a glitch. That's the incentive structure. Now here's the part most people miss. The economy isn't optimized for fairness. It's optimized for stability, specifically financial stability. When policymakers choose between protecting purchasing power and protecting the system wins. Every time.
Thank you all.
Because letting
How
the
did you
system
do it?
fail is
With hard
politically
work.
and socially
We hit
catastrophic.
record highs
So losses
and
get
secured net
socialized.
gains.
Gains stay
On to
private.
profit growth.
Again,
This is confusing.
not a conspiracy,
this part
a
explains
survival
Oh, I
instinct.
see now. Thanks.
This is where
No
the
problem.
uncomfortable math shows up. If debt keeps rising faster than income, something must give. Either defaults explode or money gets diluted. Modern economies choose dilution, quietly. Inflation isn't just rising prices, it's a pressure valve. Value of debt. It shifts the burden without a formal default. And it does it unevenly. Wages lag, assets adjust faster. Which means time itself becomes a tax. Paid mostly by people who can't hedge it. Now contrast this with the public story. We're told markets are neutral, that success is mostly merit, that crashes are unpredictable. But look at who consistently recovers first after every crisis.
I know, right?
Large institutions, asset owners, highly leveraged players with access to cheap credit. The system doesn't punish leverage at the top, it subsidizes it. At the bottom, leverage is risky. At the top, it's strategy. That's the design. Zoom out even further, and this becomes global. Countries with reserve
Flipping so
currencies can
fast.
borrow endlessly.
Whoa, 2025
Countries without
already.
them must earn or suffer. Debt becomes influence. Liquidity becomes power. And stability becomes a negotiating tool. This is why the same global structures survive crisis
Thank
after
you all.
crisis.
How did
They're
you
not
do it?
fragile,
With
they're
hard
adaptive.
work. We
Pain
hit
is
record
distributed,
highs
not
and
eliminated.
secured
And the
net
longer this
gains.
runs,
On
the
to
more the
profit
economy
growth.
stops
This is
reflecting
confusing.
productivity
This part
and
explains
starts
Oh, I see
reflecting
now.
access.
Thanks. No
Access to
problem. Glad I
capital, access to credit, access to time. That's the real divide now. Not rich versus poor, but liquid versus illiquid. So when people say the economy is broken, what they usually mean is this. It no longer works for me the way I was promised. And that feeling is real. But from the system's perspective, debt is being serviced. Markets are functioning. Institutions are solvent. Mission accomplished. The risk isn't collapse tomorrow. The risk is normalization. A world where permanent inflation is tolerated, where crises are expected, where inequality isn't fixed, just managed. Because systems don't change when they're failing. They change when they stop benefiting the people who protect them. So the question isn't whether the global economy will break. The question is quieter and more unsettling. How long can a system designed for stability at the top survive growing instability everywhere else?
Whoa, 2025
And if it ever
already.
does change, who will it be redesigned for next?